What's good, neighborhood? It's Monday, and we're back with more Legend of Dragoon. The weekend's been a combination of, well, I honestly can't really find one word to describe how this weekend's been. At times it's been really quiet, really slow. At other times, especially on Friday, it was action packed. Saturday spent a good amount of time playing Avengers, so I was getting into that grind mindset. And honestly, aside from what happened on Wednesday, last week's schedule went through pretty well, and I want to keep it up. So I've already got the schedule for this week posted on the Discord. On Wednesday, when the poll ends, we'll find out what we're going to be playing this coming Friday night on the Double KO Arcade, and I will make sure to let everyone know immediately when that poll ends, so that way, for folks that want to jump in and don't have the game, they can either at least, schedule some time to watch the stream, or even pick up the game if they want to join in. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it was definitely a weekend. It was enough of a weekend that I'm still yawning and kind of exhausted from it. Oh, good. It's nice that we can actually, cut around to get back there. Yep. Yeah, that's what it really is. Sometimes weekends, well, more often than not, weekends feel like they're never long enough. Oh, Lord! Can somebody please tell me what the hell just happened? Did that thing just one hit KO Shanna and then run? As a matter of fact, it did. It, just completely... It just completely dusted her health points. Well, that was interesting. Okay. Lavit's the badass. It's just like, nah, I got this. Rides the bridge, then just slides down and beats up the dude that's operating it. Okay, so, just... Oh. Well, it's kind of funny that I already had Lavitz and Shanna in, because I did not think that... I didn't think that it would actually hit a point where I'd be basically forced to redo my party. But I'm in good shape here. I was trying to run directly into him, but they had me run past him for some reason. And yeah, Shanna is behind.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
Question I might have an answer to. What's up? Alright, so... That's a good question.
Yes.
Because I completely forgot whether or not that was the case. Shanna is just not in good shape. Hey, what's good, Chop? Good to see you in. Yeah, once we get to the victory screen, we'll have to see about that.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
Okay, that guy finally dropped. Okay, so total experience there is 44. Okay, 31 days. Give me just a second, guys. Nothing like getting some extra good news while you're doing something you enjoy. But okay, so from what it looks like, as far as how the experience is divided, the total that they show right there is what each person is getting. So it looks like, you know, it looks like it's calculated after dividing it amongst your strike team. Which means it's gonna take a while for Shanna to actually, you know, match up to Lavitz and Dart. It's gonna take a while. see what we're looking at as far as gear. Maybe that might help too. Yeah, and of course that one other party member would just have to be that one other party member would have to be Dart. As it stands though, I'm really not sure if there's a way to actually set it up to where you only have a two-person team. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it'll let me just have a two-person team. Or it might have to be later after I finish up this dungeon too. I mean, maybe if I had something as far as like something that generates extra experience for us per fight. Hey, Blue. Good to see you. Okay. We definitely need to do something about him. That guy actually did a little bit of damage. Almost impressed. Well, almost. So anyway, while I was out walking the dog this morning, you know, it occurred to me, you know, and I don't know, it's an idea that occurred to me before, but one of those things where I don't think I've actually had much opportunity to discuss it with folks at length. But let's just say from the from the 80s all the way up to today, you know, as more and more games are being made and coming out, you know, more stories are being told through gaming as an interactive medium. When you look at it from a certain standpoint, what could really be said is that we are literally, like, between games and comic books, you know, between the different types of fictional media that we have, we're basically in the midst of our own sort of digital mythology being written. I mean, if you look at mythology as, you know, stories being told not just to explain the world around us, but stories being told with an analog basis in the world around us. When you look at it from that point of view, then yeah, I mean, you could honestly say that, especially, you know, later generations, later generations that may at some point be studying, you know, our culture and our media. You know, those folks are going to look back and they're going to see characters like, oh, they're going to see characters like Terry Bogard, like Mike Hagar, hell, like Mario, even. And though the games themselves may be simple, you know, simple run from left to right, jump over stuff, jump on stuff. But there's a lot of underpinnings that, you know, there's a lot of underpinnings to those games that could actually be held up as, you know, myths and legends. Yeah, you know, the Greco-Roman pantheon could very well make a direct analog to, you know, the rosters of heroes and villains in Marvel and DC Comics. Yes. This isn't gonna go well. She's still alive, but just barely. That's an interesting question. I mean, there's also, you know, the saying goes that, you know, that history is written by the winners. So something is very liable to happen where, you know, either the U.S. is going to take more than just a socio-political beating, or it'll just be the simple fact that, you know, the vast majority of the world ain't necessarily thinking very positively of the U.S. as a whole. So, yeah, there are already enough countries out there that look at us as the bad guys on a vast number of topics. There you go. I think that's really what it is, you know. History is context. True. You know, just thinking about all this. It's one of those things where it's one of those things where yeah, the US in a lot of in a lot of places the US is going to be seen as the US is going to be seen as, you know, we're being seen in such a negative light. And a lot of it really stems from just well, I'd say it stems from two sources. One, it stems from our elected officials. I'm just going to say it right here and now. Like, doesn't matter which side of the aisle you sit on. Our elected officials are just entrenched. Gotcha. But yeah, our politicians are just so entrenched. And on top of that, there's next to no actual help going out to the people. And because of that, because of a lot of the unrest that we're dealing with, that's what's leading to, you know, that's what's leading to, you know, it's a breeding ground for people to just start acting up. And on that note, that leads to the second source. Bad news travels fast. I should have had Shanna use that. And I didn't even boost it either. That was a mistake. Let's try this one. Oh, ouch. I literally just guessed. That was literally guesswork on my part. Yeah, that's a very good possibility. Well, that's definitely going to come in handy. Three turns worth of damage resist. I'll take it. Okay, so I missed the obvious directions and on-screen prompts. And I'm basically going into this fight not really properly equipped. And he's awake now. This is going to be something of a struggle. Oh, and Shanna's just dead. All right.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
All right. I'll take the L. On the plus side, it actually looks like it'll be pretty straightforward to get back here.
Yes. Go. Volcano. Harpoon.
Oh, joy. Dart's confused. Yeah, no, this thing's not going to let us run.
Harpoon.
Oh, he did that kind of damage? Ugh. Oh, this fight's gonna suck. You know what? Let's call a mulligan on this fight. All right. So yeah, I think I'll firstly need to hit a spot where I can get some more items. Because I'm going to be using at least 2 of these healing potions. Hey, what's good, Andre? I'm doing, I'm doing okay. Nice. Speaking of installing stuff, that reminds me. A little bit later, I'm definitely gonna need to. Oh, excuse me. I'm definitely gonna need to take a look through my external hard drive on the PS4 to see, well, to make sure that I've got enough room for Avengers.
Yes. Go. Volcano. Harpoon.
Alright, just a quick moment. Alright, let's get back to it. So I think what I'm going to do this time is, take a little bit more time to do some fighting around the prison. Whew. Excuse me. Okay. Now I know. I'll just say it. I'll just say it right now. Just clear the air. Get it out in the open. I've been seeing all the stuff that's been coming out regarding Lab Zero and regarding Mike Z's behavior, and the best I can say about this is that it's just it's like what happened with it's like what happened with Mr. Wizard and Evo. You know how people knew about this behavior a long time coming, but no one really did anything about it. Like no one. It's like no one that was eating at the table wanted to demand better food because then they just get kicked out. They just get kicked off the table to begin with. But now it's at the point where they're just being served. Everything that they're being served is rotten, and it's spilling over into the public. Exactly. And I mean,
Yes.
like I've read some stuff about outside of just the harassment allegations. I've read some stuff about you know Mike Z's on the clock behavior, about how people on the staff have been asking to get stuff done with the engine for Skullgirls, and it's literally like Mike Z holds that shit hostage. Instead of being honest, on a on a development schedule, you're having to like tiptoe and walk on eggshells around him and basically beg and plead with him to actually make improvements.
Harpoon.
Right.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
Now that so much has come out, and now that the curtain at Lab Zero Games has been pulled back the way it is, I mean, people say, Mike Z isn't Lab Zero. Please, and they ask folks to continue supporting Skullgirls and supporting Indivisible. It's tough to do so when the head man in charge, the founder, is just proven to be such a nightmare of a person. You look at it, and whether consciously or not, you think, I like playing these games, but this is the guy that made them. How can this guy be such a absolute asshole. And it tarnishes your view of the game. And it's gotten to a point where people won't even support Lab Zero games anymore. If nothing else, until Mike Z is out, whether on his own 2 feet or by force.
Yes. Go. Volcano. Harpoon.
And in a way, I guess it kind of dovetails with, our conversation of, how other countries around the world see the U.S. Because, I mean, you look at Lab Zero, you look at their non-leadership staff, and you think, that's a pretty solid bunch. But when the figurehead is just so gross,
Yes. Go. Volcano.
it tarnishes everything else and everyone else underneath you on the totem pole.
Harpoon. Yes. Go. Volcano.
I don't know. Even with everything I've said about all this, it's just... But yeah, I mean, even with everything I've been talking about today, though, just... It honestly just makes me kind of sad. Because, I mean, folks are dealing with enough as is. And now having it... having so much controversy and just so much nonsense, happening in our hobbies, our one shot at decompressing and just, getting some time away from all the shit that's going on in the world. And then you look to video games and comics, you look to entertainment, you look to your fiction just to, give yourself some time to give yourself some time to lighten lighten the burden, only to see all this shit happening. People
Harpoon!
people just want to play their video games, but I think it'll be a lot easier for folks to do so when they don't have to worry about the developers being terrible people.
Yes!
So either folks need to get their shit together, or more just needs to be handled in-house.
Yes! Go! Volcano! Harpoon! Yes! Go! Volcano!
Well, that's enough of that. I'm sorry, all this shit going on, I literally... I feel like I wasted the entire hour. I feel like I wasted the entire stream just talking about a bunch of downer shit when we could just be chilling, playing games and having fun.
Harpoon!
Look at that. Here I am, basically just trying to pillage all the treasure chests, and the guards are like, "Get him!" But at least it seems like, compared to when I first jumped in here, I think I'm in a bit of a better position. I'll just have to, over this and maybe even tomorrow's streams, I'll just have to, keep grinding through to, at the very least, get a little bit more experience under Shanna's belt. Oh. Oh man, that's right.
Go! Volcano!
Here's to hoping. Yeah, that's right. Looking at the weather predictions and looking at the weather predictions and weather maps, like the Gulf of Mexico and the Southwest in general, like we're just gonna get hit hard with these hurricanes that are coming in. So yeah, anyone, for everyone that's watching from down in Louisiana or, further south of me. Hell, even anyone who's watching up here in Texas, in Dallas, and in Richardson. Make sure you're prepared and make sure that you stay safe above all else.
Yes.
I mean, between the hurricanes and the multiple fires that are toasting the western third of the U.S.,
Yes.
you know,
Go.
it's not just a when it rains it pours kind of situation. It's a straight up.
Harpoon.
Like it's just a cluster of bad things going down.
Yes. Go. Volcano.
There we go. And with that, let's see, save state. Yeah, like hopefully things actually stay relatively calm on that front. But at any rate, you know, we've already hit the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here for the morning. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me for this past hour as we've just kind of, conversed about some not so great stuff, honestly. Yeah, it's scary. We're in scary times. So, more than anything, more than anything, whatever happens, whether or not y'all come back to the stream or not, I just want y'all to stay safe. Stay safe. You know, when you manage to get in some game time, just play something that play something that makes you happy. Play something where you don't need to put an asterisk in front of whether or not you enjoy the game. Okay, Berserk is a different story entirely. Yeah, it's rough. But anyways, I will be back this afternoon at 2 p.m. And this time I mean it when I say I'll be back this afternoon at 2 p.m. Central with more Fantasy Star Online 2. And tomorrow, if everything goes well with the certifications on their end, then I'll be playing the new Warframe update, the new mainline update that's going to, if nothing else, change the game as far as Warframe goes. But we'll see how that turns out in the next day or so. Till then, y'all be safe. And as always, stay good, neighborhood. I'll see you next time.